What is up, everybody? Back again, representing Beyond Us. I am Daniel, here again for weekly picks in the NFL. I apologize for being here by myself. Brett, in the midst of his travels, is not in a position to be able to record today, and we wanted to get our picks out to you guys. So here we are. We're currently sitting on Saturday, so these are our most up-to-date spreads we could possibly provide you. As you can see, I already have Cincinnati plugged into my picks. I have all of Brett's picks plugged in. I will reveal them as we go and then reveal them all visibly at the end of this video. But we both took Cincinnati in the game on Thursday night. We were both wrong. Our current records have been adjusted accordingly. We sit at 22 and 27 for me, Brett at 24 and 25. So we're both just under Brett, a little bit closer to being even. He was even going into this week. All of that being said, let us get started. We're going to start with the first game, Minnesota at New Orleans. New Orleans getting +3. Brett took Minnesota. I am inclined to agree with him on that. It's hard to go against Minnesota when they're just looking, they're not looking great, but they're looking good enough to win games. And New Orleans is still trying to figure things out. I don't think there's too much to be said about that. Up next, we have Seattle at Detroit. Detroit -3.5. I am surprised that the spread is that close. I'm going to take Detroit, as is Brett. We both just are inclined to think that Detroit is a good enough team. It's hard to not pick Detroit when any of the spreads are giving them points because they're always close in games, and they could win any given Sunday. Excuse me. After that, we have the Jets heading to the Steelers, getting three. Yes, the Jets are getting 3.5. I think this is going to be a close game. I can see it going either way. The Jets beat Cleveland not too long ago. It's finicky either way. Pittsburgh's on a bit of a losing streak. I don't think Pittsburgh is in a place they need to be. I'm going to take the Jets. Brett also took the Jets, so it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. Up next, we have Chicago at the Giants. Giants -3. That's tough. Brett took Chicago here, and I'm inclined to agree. I don't think New York is as good as they've seemed. I think Dallas Dallas beat them with a backup quarterback who, granted, is doing great, and we'll get to that here in a bit. But I think Chicago is a strong team looking to continue to build upon that. So Brett and I are both taking Chicago. Up next, we have the Titans at the Colts. The Colts -3.5. Brett took Tennessee. I am going to agree. Tennessee is probably the better team here. That being said, the Colts, they just beat Kansas City, so it's tough. But I think Tennessee is the slightly better team. So I'm going to take them. Up next, we have the Chargers at the Texans. The Texans getting 5.5. Brett and I both agree that is not enough. We will both be taking the Chargers. I don't think there's a lot to say. The Chargers are dynamically just a better team, and I don't even think it's close. And the same thing can be said in this next game, Cleveland at Atlanta. Atlanta only getting +1. Definitely not enough. Cleveland is by far the better team. I don't think there's any questions to that. And so Brett and I are both taking Cleveland here. Now, Dallas gets a home game against the Commanders. Historic rivalry, but it's the first time that the Commanders will ever play the Cowboys. The whole name change and everything. Dallas -3. I don't think that's enough points for Washington to have a chance. Nor does Brett. Brett took Dallas as well. I just think that Dallas is the stronger team. Their defense last week, the Philly defense hit Carson Wentz. I think it was 9 times. It was 7 or 9 times. and Dallas's defense is leading the league in sacks and quarterback pressures. So I just don't even think it's close. Up next, we have Jacksonville at Philly. Jacksonville getting 6.5, and that makes me take Jacksonville. Brett also took Jacksonville. Now, as far as I understand from my my communications with Brett this week, Brett thinks that Philly will probably win this game, but Jacksonville will win via the spread. I think Jacksonville has a good chance to win outright. I think that Jacksonville is underestimated. I think that Philly is being slightly overestimated, but we'll see. But with 6.5 points, I'm inclined to take Jacksonville. Up next, we have Buffalo at the Ravens. The Ravens getting 3. I'm actually going to take Baltimore here. Now, Brett took Buffalo, and I completely respect that decision. I can't blame him in the slightest for that thought process. I just think that Lamar Jackson is the current front-running person for MVP. And obviously, it's only week 4. Who knows where this will go? But as it stands, it's just he's playing too well for me to not think that he could also be a team to beat Buffalo. So I'm going to take Baltimore. Brett is taking Buffalo. So that is our first difference of opinion this week. Up next, we have Arizona at Carolina. Arizona getting a point. I'm going to take Arizona getting a point. I think Arizona is the better team, and the beta for Call of Duty is over, so Arizona should be fine. We take a lot of shots at that, but in all seriousness, Arizona. Brett also took Arizona. In this next game, Denver at the Raiders minus 2.5. Brett took Vegas. I'm also going to take Vegas. I don't think Denver is as good as they should be. I don't know what it is about them, but they're very finicky right now, and it's very strange to me. We're both going to take Vegas in this one. Up next, we got the Patriots at Green Bay. Patriots getting 9.5. That's so many points, but I think Green Bay is stronger. Mac Jones is out. I got to take Green Bay. Brett, you already know, is going to take Green Bay as a Packers fan. Up next, we have Kansas City at Tampa Bay. In a first time for our channel, we have an actual PK spread. It's a pick'em. For those of you that don't know, in sports betting, PK stands for pick'em. Where there is no spread, it is just pick who you think is going to win outright. Brett took Kansas City. I am also going to take Kansas City. I think they are the better team, and it's just hard to bet against Patty Mahomes. So Kansas City to beat Tampa Bay by whatever they want, because as long as they win, we get the point. And then finally, in our Monday night game, the Rams heading to San Francisco. The Rams getting 1.5 is crazy to me, because I would pick the Rams to win this game outright anyway, as I think Brett is, because he's also taking the Rams here. So we're both taking the Rams in what we assess will be a pretty solid game for LA. So now I will show you Brett's picks. As I said, I can move these over just to make them look a little bit more nice and even, be a nice, cleaned up, lined up person for those of you viewing. But yeah, so as you can see, the only pick that Brett and I differed on this week is Buffalo and Baltimore. So we'll see what happens. That does mean, though, if I go positive overall, Brett will by proxy. But that is going to do it for these picks this week, guys. We apologize for bringing them to you so late. Just complications and whatnot. But we are going to have these out before the game start tomorrow. Please feel free to put your picks in the comments. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you think we're tripping on something, because there's a good chance we are. And with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate you over here at Beyond Us. And we'll see you guys soon. See you guys.